Okay. Have you ever noticed, like, how often we have to introduce ourselves?
All the time, right.
Yeah. But it can be so awkward.
Oh, absolutely. Especially, meeting new people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what do you even say? And it can be even harder when you're trying to do it in English if it's, not your first language.
Right. First impressions are everything, though, so we really should get this right.
Which is why this deep dive is perfect. We found this guide, and it's got some really good tips. So let's jump right in.
Yeah, let's do it. What I found really interesting is that it doesn't even start with, what you say.
Wait, really? I was all ready to, practicing my elevator pitch and all that.
Nope. First things first. Nonverbal cues.
Like, what? Body language and stuff?
Exactly. Smiling and eye contact. The source is really big on those.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
A smile can make you seem more approachable.
It's more than that, though. It's like, when you meet someone and their smile just kind of lights up the room?
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
It's that kind of energy. This guide talks about the Duchenne smile, which is a specific type of smile that uses the muscles around your eyes.
So it's not just a fake smile, it's got to be genuine.
Exactly. And there's research showing that a Duchenne smile makes you seem more trustworthy,
Oh, wow. So like in a job interview, a good smile could be a huge advantage.
Oh, totally. Okay, so you've got the smile down, good eye contact. Now we can talk about the actual words.
Finally. Lay it on me.
Start with the basics. Your name, where you're from, what you do. But then...
There's a but then.
Okay, I'm intrigued. The guide suggests adding one interesting fact about yourself.
Ooh, I like that. That's how you stand out, right?
Yeah, it's all about making yourself memorable.
But what kind of interesting fact? Like, I feel like this could go wrong easily.
It definitely could. The key is authenticity. It's got to be something genuinely you, not just something you think sounds impressive.
So like, I like to read is probably not going to cut it.
Unless you're reading like ancient scrolls in their original language, probably not. Think about hobbies, passions. Maybe a funny story that's short and sweet.
So it's like a little sneak peek into your personality. Okay, I'm getting this. So we've got the smile, the basics, the interesting fact. What's next?
Now, this might seem a little counterintuitive,
Whoa.
but the guide is big on politeness, like, it's nice to meet you, or how are you today, kind of stuff.
Okay, but how is that going to make me seem confident? It seems so basic.
It's subtle. Think about it. If you're nervous, you might rush through the intro, right? Sound a little abrupt.
Yeah, that's totally me.
But taking a moment to be polite, it shows you're comfortable, respectful.
Yeah. So it's like, even though the words themselves are simple, they're sending a message about how I'm feeling.
Exactly. You're present in the moment, not just trying to get the intro over with.
Okay, I can see that. I never thought about it that way before.
It can make a big difference, especially if you're meeting someone for the first time. Now, the next part is where things get really interesting. This is where we tailor the introduction based on the context.
Context,
Yeah.
like who I'm talking to and why.
Exactly. The guide talks about focusing on either your goals or your interests.
Okay, so goals. When would I want to lead with those?
Like, imagine you're in a job interview.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. You want to seem ambitious.
Exactly. So instead of just saying your job title, you might say something like, I'm passionate about whatever your field is, and I'm really excited to see how I could contribute to your team.
That's way better than just, hi, I'm your name, I'm an accountant.
Right.
Yeah.
You're showing them where you want to go, not just where you've been.
Okay, so flip side.
Yeah.
When would I talk about my interests?
Think more like a social setting, a party, networking event.
Where you actually want to have a conversation with people.
Right. So I'm an accountant isn't going to be a great opener there.
No kidding. I can already feel the awkward silence.
But what if you said something like, I spend my days crunching numbers, but my real passion is restoring vintage motorcycles. I'm actually working on a 60s Triumph right now.
Okay, now that's a conversation starter.
Right. It shows there's more to you than just your job. People connect with that.
This is making me rethink my whole approach to introductions. It's not just about getting information across, it's about creating a connection.
Exactly. Okay, ready for the next tip.
Hit me.
End your intro with a question.
Oh, good one. But not like a yes-no question, right? Those are conversation killers.
You got it. The guide is all about open-ended questions.
So instead of do you like movies, I should ask, what kind of movies are you into?
Exactly. It invites a real response, plus it shifts the focus to the other person.
Which takes the pressure off me. But there's got to be more to it than that, right? Like, what's the psychology behind it?
Well, think about it. When you ask a good open-ended question, you're giving them a chance to share something about themselves.
And people like talking about themselves.
Most do. It's a subtle way of making them feel good, and it encourages them to engage with you.
So I'm making them feel good. They're more likely to want to keep talking to me. Smart.
It's all about those subtle cues. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've got the smile, the basics, the interesting fact, politeness, tailoring to the context, and ending with a question.
Phew. My head's spinning, but in a good way. It's amazing how many things I was doing wrong before.
We all do it, but there's one more crucial piece to this puzzle.
I have a feeling I know what it is. Practice.
You got it. Even with the best material, you got to practice to make it feel natural.
Okay, so that's what we'll tackle next time.
Exactly. We'll get into some specific strategies for practicing introductions so you can nail them every time.
So we've got all these great tips for introductions, but I don't know about you, but I get nervous. Like I can totally see myself fumbling over my words in the moment.
Oh yeah, me too. That's why practice is so important.
Right. But it's not just about memorizing a script, is it?
Not at all. It's more about, really getting comfortable with the ideas, making them second nature.
Like building muscle memory, but for talking.
Yeah, exactly. It's like learning to dance or something. At first, you're all stiff and awkward, but the more you practice.
The more you just kind of flow with it.
Yeah, exactly. You're not even thinking about the steps anymore. You're just feeling the music.
Okay, so how do we actually practice this? I mean, talking to the mirror only gets you so far.
It depends what you're prepping for. Like, for a job interview, role-playing can be super helpful.
Oh, right, like get a friend to be the interviewer, put you on the spot.
Yeah, exactly. That way you get used to the pressure. Oh, and another good one is to record yourself.
Ugh, I hate listening to recordings of myself.
They know it's painful. But you can really hear things you wouldn't notice otherwise.
Like all my ums and ahs, probably.
Yeah, those filler words. You can work on smoothing them out.
It's true. I've done that for presentations at work, and it really helps. Wait, you know what else could be good? Maybe, like, hiring a coach.
Oh, yeah, there are totally coaches who specialize in this kind of stuff.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I had no idea. But it makes sense. It's like we invest in learning so many other skills. Why not communication?
Right. It's so important. But okay, for more everyday stuff, like just meeting new people, you can practice in lower stakes situations.
Lower stakes.
Yeah, like chat with the barista at your coffee shop or the cashier at the store.
Just get used to striking up conversations.
Exactly. It's good practice. Plus, you might brighten someone's day.
Okay. I like that. It's less scary than like a networking event.
Right. And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes.
I was starting to get this. It's really a whole mindset shift, isn't it? It's not just about the words. It's about how you approach those first interactions.
Yeah, for sure. It's about showing up authentically and confidently.
Right. Okay. Let's do a quick recap of everything we've talked about today.
Okay, so starting with nonverbal cues, the Duchenne smile. Good eye contact.
Makes you seem approachable and trustworthy.
Yeah. Then we layer in those basic details. Name, where you're from, what you do.
But then the magic happens. We add that one interesting fact to make ourselves stand out.
And don't forget the politeness. It might seem basic, but it actually sends a really important message.
Right, like you're calm, you're respectful, you're not just rushing to get it over with.
Exactly. And then, depending on the situation, we highlight either our goals or our interests.
Goals for job interviews, to show ambition, interests for social settings, to spark a conversation.
Exactly. And to finish strong, that open-ended question.
Keeps the conversation flowing and makes the other person feel good. It's genius.
And don't forget about practice.
Oh, yeah. I got to practice, practice, practice.
Whether it's role-playing, recording ourselves, or just chatting with people in everyday situations.
This has been so helpful. I'm actually starting to feel excited about introductions now, not just terrified.
That's great. And earlier you mentioned something about going beyond spoken introductions.
Oh, yeah. You said these ideas could be applied to like online profiles and stuff. I want to hear more about that.
We'll dive into all that next time.
Yeah. So it's not just about like what you say when you meet someone face to face.
Exactly. It's bigger than that.
So like my LinkedIn profile, that little about me section that I always struggle with.
Think of that as an introduction too.
Okay. So instead of just listing my skills and experience.
You can use those same principles we've been talking about. The interesting fact, maybe even ending with a question that encourages people to connect with you.
Ooh, that's clever. Like what kind of question?
Maybe something like, I'm really passionate about mentoring new designers, so if you're just starting out in the field, feel free to reach out.
Oh, I like that. It's inviting, but also shows what I care about.
Right. And it could spark conversations, lead to collaborations.
Yeah, I'm seeing my whole online presence differently now. It's like Every interaction is a chance to make a first impression.
That's a great way to think about it. And don't forget email introductions, too.
Oh, yeah. Those can be awkward.
Instead of just, hi, I'm so-and-so, attached is my resume.
It's news?
Right. You can briefly mention a shared interest or how your skills connect to their needs.
So you're standing out from all those other generic emails.
Exactly. It all comes back to being memorable and showing your personality.
This has been so eye-opening. I feel like I've got a whole new arsenal of communication tools now.
That's the goal. Remember, though, confidence takes practice.
Yeah, it's not like I'll suddenly be amazing at all of this overnight.
Of course not. But the more you use these strategies, the more natural they'll feel. And don't be afraid to experiment.
Experiment.
Yeah, like try different approaches and see what works best for you. Every situation is a little different, right?
That's true. And I guess, like, the more I practice, the less I'll overthink it, and the more I can just be myself.
Exactly. That's the key. Authenticity. People connect with that. When you're genuine, it shines through.
Okay, I'm going to try to remember that. No more hiding behind generic intros.
That's the spirit. Go out there and rock those first impressions.
I will. This has been such a fantastic deep dive. Thank you so much for all these insights.
My pleasure. It's been fun exploring all this with you. And hey, remember, the more you practice, the more confident you'll become. And that confidence will spread.
Oh, I like that. So by being more confident in ourselves, we might actually help other people feel more confident too.
Exactly. It's like a ripple effect. So go out there, make those connections, and watch the confidence grow.